If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First and foremost, it's free. Then there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM. Anchor.fm to get started. Greetings, Earthlings. My name is Carlton Ennis, and I am joined by Craig Lindo and Mo Lotfi, and we welcome you to our show, Unsolicited Genius. Here we share our thoughts, opinions, and perspectives on the happenings in our world. We know you didn't ask us, but we're giving it to you anyway.
You are now listening to the
Unsolicited Genius.
Carlton Ennis,
The Genius. Unsolicited Genius.
Craig D, Mo Lotfi, C. Ennis. You are listening to
Unsolicited Genius. Unsolicited Genius.
Carlton Ennis,
The Genius. Unsolicited Genius.
Craig D, Mo Lotfi, C. Ennis.
Unsolicited Genius.
You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.
What's up, fellas?
What's good, fellas?
What's going on, Carlton? What's good, Craig? How y'all boys doing today, man?
Happy day after Valentine's Day.
And government job, celebrating the day off.
Oh, yeah, it's President's Day, too. So happy President's Day for those. I don't know, do you celebrate that or you just take it off? But happy day after Valentine's Day. Happy President's Day. All right, so before we jump into today's show, want to do a little housekeeping first. This weekend, I participated in Reveal Wealth's virtual community impact event. I was one of the guest speakers. Great time, great organization, doing a lot of work and just helping people with their financials. This community event they do on a monthly basis, and it's really just an opportunity to showcase what professionals, individuals, leaders are doing, across the country in various industries, to give people just a different perspective. So had a good time doing that. Again, it's Reveal Wealth is the name of the organization. They can be found on werevealwealth.com, revealwealth.com, and you can find a replay of the virtual event on their Facebook page. One other housekeeping note. So I think everybody at this point, if they're listening to us, they got through our new theme song. So what y'all think of the new song, fellas?
I definitely like it, man. Our man Jojo, he came through with it. It's greatly appreciated, man.
Right. So
One time Nitty for the new vibe.
yes. So thank you, Joe Nitty. Thank you for your brothers in light and love. Hot track. Truly appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Any other housekeeping for you gentlemen before we get into the sports pages?
No, I'm good, my brother.
What there's only but so much sport left. It's just basketball now.
Well,
The NFL
we could start there, or we can kind of wrap up our NFL, wrap up football. So it's two things on my mind: the NFL draft and the Houston Texans. What in the what is going on with Watt and Watson? The Texans, it's like they don't want to be a team. It's crumbling before our very eyes, and I don't understand what's happening.
I mean, they're just poorly run. I mean, it's very simple. The Houston Texans are a horribly run franchise. J.J. Watt is old. He doesn't want to be around for this dumb rebuild they're about to go through. He knows Watson doesn't want to play. I mean, have you guys seen that clip where him and Watson are walking off the field and Watt tells Watson, "We wasted a year of your career this year"?
No,
Yeah, he
I didn't see
apologized
that.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah, he apologized
that's
to him
powerful.
for it. He said, "We wasted a year of your career this year." Man, when you play football, every year is crucial for you because you never know when your fucking career is gonna end. So I don't
That
blame
wall comes
Watt for
quick.
wanting to leave. They definitely have no chance of competing anytime soon. They don't have any draft picks and they suck.
Mm,
It's not
true
it's
statement.
no wonder that Deshaun Watson wants to leave the Texans. The question is, are they going to trade him? And I got to disagree with you, my brothers, man. Football season never ends. I mean, I could argue with you that the off season is more exciting than the regular season. Like
It has
football,
excitement. It has
But before
excitement.
we go there, is it me or it just seems like there's a bunch of athletes running away from Texas, particularly Houston, in a couple sports?
I mean, I don't think
Kind
it
of.
has anything to do with the location. It has everything to do with their
Mm.
chance to win a championship. Like if Harden thought he could win a championship in Houston, he would have stayed in Houston. If Watson and Watt thought they could win a championship with the Texans, they'd stay with the Texans. The It's all about the
You think the
opportunity.
Watson thing is about winning championships now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't
Watson.
believe that.
What do you mean, Craig? Watson last year re-upped with the Texans for 4 years and became the second highest paid player in NFL history. He was
Yeah,
crying.
I'm not debating. He did that. I'm saying I at this point, I feel like the reasoning for not going back might be more personal than business.
It's
And
about
I'm
Tell
just
more.
because
Say
Orlando
he
and
oh,
make his
Watson's
say
way.
only.
that.
I know nothing.
Say more. Tell what. So personal instead of business. For example.
Like behind the scenes, maybe there is something in the culture that he's like, you know what? Yeah, y'all cut a big check for me, but I'm willing to lose these game checks and just not to F with y'all. It's
I
something,
agree
it's
with
something,
you.
maybe there's something behind the scenes that whether it's on in terms of character integrity or something that disgusts him so that he's willing to go.
No, I agree with you. It's their culture, it's their organization. But what I was telling you is you were saying, does it have anything to do with Houston? It's not Houston. It's not the city. It's that their organizations are fucked
Yeah,
up.
that was me. Yeah, telling you. But as far as the Watson thing, I think is personal.
I mean, with Harden, it got personal. Look how Harden was acting
It did
before
get
he
ugly.
to get his way out of Houston. I
It
just
did
think
get. But
now, man, the players, for really the first time in sports history, you're starting to see the players realize that they have the power.
right.
They have a say so in their faith and they are trying to exercise that power. And a lot of them have been successful. And so more players are trying to see if they can be successful in getting what they want. And I don't blame them. Like, I don't blame them one fucking bit. Like,
Yeah, we've
No,
seen
Watson,
it really
Watson
take
will
off,
waste
and
his career with the Texans.
we've seen it really. We've
if
seen
he
it in
already
baseball.
hasn't.
We've seen it in basketball. And so what, for a lot of years, football players would, make the point that they didn't have the same leverage that the athletes in these other sports did. So, you know, kudos to the ones that are able to take advantage of it. I mean, we know the
Only the
stories.
quarterback.
We know Elway, Eli kind of deal with the draft, but if you're in another position to be able to do something about it, kudos to you. What you say, Mo?
It's only if you're a quarterback can you pull this shit. Like you can't pull this shit if you're like the offensive tackle. That's not gonna work out for you.
No, that's can you not do it if you're a wide receiver or I know running backs used to have more leverage, but
I
certain
mean,
Le'Veon
players
tried
might
it to
still
some
be able to
extent.
get some wiggle room, right?
if you wanna act like Antonio Brown and call Mike Mayock a cracker, yeah, you
That's
can get
one way.
yeah,
That's
that's
one
one
way.
way to get
That's
away
Yeah,
that's
with it.
representing
I can't
yourself.
co-sign that. What you
That
think
is
about the Le'Veon
representing
thing?
your
Does Le'Veon
position.
fall in this category?
No, I don't condone Antonio Brown calling him that. But what I'm telling you, Craig, is like
Yeah.
that's those are your options if you're not a quarterback. Like
What
As far
about
as
you have to
the
act up.
category that you're discussing now, does Le'Veon fit in there?
But look at Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell, and I'm happy that Le'Veon Bell got paid, right? But if you cared about your legacy as an athlete, right? Was
Mhm.
was Le'Veon Bell's move the right move because he sat out a year, came back, signed with the Jets, and his career is like kind of
Oh, the
over?
legacy not pretty. Now, the
If
money,
all he
the
cared about was
control of
getting
his
paid,
career.
that's good
Hey,
for him.
yeah, no, and it's unfortunate because he was, skill wise, some of the things that he's done, I was looking to see that happen over the course of a nice long career. He still got legs in him under him, but let's see what happens.
Man,
So what are y'all looking at? Who's all right, besides Trevor Lawrence and a couple like the quarterbacks, like who you really looking at coming out the draft?
man, Craig, I'm glad you asked that shit, man. Have you ever noticed that like the black quarterback can never move up the draft board? He only moves down the draft board, and white quarterback, like, no disrespect to what are Buddy's names, man? Buddy from BYU. Lance is one of the, and Zach Wilson is the quarterback from BYU, and I believe the other quarterback's name is Trey Lance, who's from like South Dakota or some shit.
Mhm.
They've both jumped over Justin Fields in the draft. In every mock draft I've seen, and everything where these experts know, they are saying that they are the better prospects over Justin Fields. And I don't understand, like,
So right now, well,
I think they're
the
short.
mock drafts all over the map, right? So I'm looking at CBS. They got Lawrence one going one. But then Zach Wilson, BYU, is the next highest QB going fourth, and Justin Fields six.
where's
His
the
third ranked QB going
where's
drafted
Lance
six.
going?
Hey, maybe they may not be doing with him, but it wouldn't be. You know how we saw on the news the other day about uh, shorting stocks. The same could be done here, man. You could short a quarterback, get him for the low. Like I wouldn't be. You could know he's dope and then find all kind of reason to downplay his rank. That because doesn't it impact what he's able to sign for?
I mean, it impacts it in the like the first 5 years, but they're slotted into their payments in like the first 5 years if you're a first round pick. And of course, the higher you get picked, the more you make. But
Okay.
my greater point is you just don't see, like, I'll give you an example. The Trubisky draft. Mitchell Trubisky, who started 1 year for North Carolina, the Bears trade up one spot to get Mitchell Trubisky. Meanwhile, behind them, like many picks behind them, like 9th, 10th, 12th, something, you get Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. How did anybody look at Mitchell Trubisky, who played 1 year at North Carolina, and say, Mitchell Trubisky's better than Deshaun Watson, who just led Clemson to a national championship, or Patrick Mahomes, who's slinging it all over the yard at Texas Tech? How do you come to that conclusion?
No, I think this is my thing, and I'm definitely not defending it. I think what a lot of these cats are doing, they're holding on to this old archetype of quarterback in their head in many ways. And consciously or otherwise, they can't let go.
Well, then what Mo's saying is that archetype has a particular race and ethnicity. And so, I hear you, Mo, and you're
There's a
right.
pattern.
It is what we are seeing, what we're seeing, but at the same time, you use Watson and Mahomes as an example. Look at them now. They got paid. Mahomes got a ring. He played in two, lost one, won one. And Watson is trying to navigate his situation. So I think if nothing else, they proved those naysayers that passed on them how ridiculous they were for doing it. But it almost seems like that's what the black quarterback is having to do at this point. Maybe the day comes, like you said, where they get viewed and treated and respected for what they actually do on the field. But at least now for sure they're having an opportunity in the window to actually prove themselves, which that wasn't always the case.
That's a great point. So I ain't got nothing to say.
I mean,
What about Oh,
That
go
is
ahead,
my
Mo.
greater point, is what Carlton is saying. It is because there is still a stigma out there like that the
Mhm.
black man is not intelligent enough to play the
There
quarterback
you go.
position to some of these. When it comes to the quarterback and the coach, those are the prominent faces of the team. And to some owners, they just can't fathom the thought that the leaders of their team would be black. And that is what I'm saying. And that shows itself in the draft.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So switching topics or sports, with 1/3 of the way through the NBA season, how
Mm.
we feeling about the show that we've received thus far?
Uh, Second in the West, Lakers. I still think gonna win it. Love the fact that there's a competition for first in the West. Um, I'm not sure about competition in the East yet. I mean, I like that offensive firepower that we're getting from Brooklyn. I think everybody does. The potential of highlights and whatever they're. We'll see how they gel as KD gets back and they develop their defense. Um, there's only I bumped into a stat where in the last 20 years there's only been 2 teams that was outside the top 10 in defense that won a chip, and they were at 11. So I am excited. I still think the Lakers are favored to win it, but that's not some brilliant take. But if you look at the size of Utah, if you look like the teams that are coming for them, look what the Lakers have. They could go all 7 feet, starting with point guard at 6'9". Braun is 6'9". That's 3 inches off of 7 feet, fam. 6'8" even. Okay. KD, these are essentially 7-footers. Now,
Right.
when you have men that big that could create their own shots with handles, all that many on the court at the same time, they're gonna. I mean, that defense is gonna be crazy. The rebounding is a problem. You saw what it did to the Heat last year in the finals,
Why you got
and
to
what they
bring
do
up
to
old
everybody
stuff?
when they apply their length. It's
I ain't
just
gonna
math,
lie.
man.
I ain't gonna lie. The Heat performance thus far does have me up in my feelings. But the season, there's time for them to make a playoff run.
They're at
I
ninth,
am
bro.
excited.
This
Yeah,
one
but
spot out. They're at ninth.
yeah, but I had high hopes, based on how things, ended in the bubble. But it's time. I ain't tripping.
Nah,
But
that
I
Philly
am
re-up was
excited
crazy.
about the Lakers. I'm excited about a finals that would have the Lakers and the Nets facing each other. I think that would be beautiful basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like the competition in the East because I don't know. At one point, we said that the Nets were guaranteed, right? But if they're not, that 2 through 8 spot is going to be super competitive.
I
So I'm
mean,
really interested to see that play itself out. In the West,
eight.
I you'll be hard pressed in the West to get me to believe it's not going to be the Lakers, regardless of
There's
how
a
Utah is
there's a
doing.
2-way tie at 6. Between Charlotte and the Knicks. I love the fact that the Knicks are coming together.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And they've been now. There's a lot of good basketball to watch. That I'll say. But as far as like winning the chip and 7-game series,
Right.
I haven't seen it. Utah. They right now they're at the top of the West, so you got to salute them.
Yeah. Good
But
job.
There's
Good
only
job.
4 teams in the East, in my opinion, that are competing for the championship.
you go as far as 4. You're a
4:
nice man.
Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Boston. Is
You skip
Brooklyn?
Indy.
Indy has no chance to win the East. Indy's
You're
not going to win.
being
No,
you skip, but
Indy.
but they're 4th, right? They're ahead of Boston.
It doesn't matter if they're 4th right now. They have no fucking chance to win the East. They're not going to the NBA Finals. The Indianapolis Pacers, as presently
The
constructed,
Boston Celtics.
the Boston Celtics have 2 crucial players and a good supporting cast player in Kemba Walker if he's healthy. The Pacers are not going to they're not the Pacers
Hold
are
up.
not going to the finals. That's not going to happen.
All right. So hold up. Are you saying you're saying the top 4 in the East is Philly, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, and Boston?
I'm saying those are the only ones that have a chance to win the East. in my opinion.
Have a chance to win. Okay, well, if you're saying have a chance to win the East, I feel like that. Okay, well, what about the West then?
In the West, I'm like you boys. I believe the Lakers are the favorite. Man, as good as Utah is playing, it's hard to see them beating the Lakers in a 7-game series and
can't
going
see
to
it.
the NBA Finals. Like I just
Nah,
can't see
in
it.
a series, it's gonna be
Now,
too much.
now the problem for the Lakers is Davis. Davis just got hurt. He's out 2 to 3 weeks with the Achilles.
Damn.
Davis is injury prone, man, and you know the last thing you want to hear if you're a basketball player is you have an Achilles injury.
Achilles.
Like that isn't some shit you want to hear if your occupation for a living is you play basketball. So
Yeah, Lakers know
You don't want to
Davis
hear it if
changes
it's your hobby
everything.
either.
if Davis
Cough.
doesn't play, the Lakers aren't going to the NBA Finals. It's over. Like they're not fucking winning the West. They're not getting out of the West.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
No,
Whoa,
the
whoa,
Lakers
whoa, whoa.
can't win the
Whoa,
West.
whoa, whoa.
No.
No.
Hold
Nah,
on.
I wouldn't go that
All right,
far.
hold on. Time out. I hear it in your voice, Craig. Let me set the scene. Everybody get in their corners before we go in. Let's make sure we know what we discussing. All right. So Craig, you on your side. Mo, you on your side. Ding, ding, ding. Go.
There is no way. I would go. It might impact their chances at winning, but they're still getting there.
No, dog, they're not
Yes.
getting to the West with LeBron, Dennis Schroeder. They're not getting out the West with LeBron, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma, and Mark Gasol. That's not going to happen. They're not beating, dog. They wouldn't beat the Clippers. They wouldn't beat Utah. They wouldn't beat Phoenix. They wouldn't beat Portland. Like they can't just win the
I
West
hope
with
that we
just
never
LeBron.
have to find out what it's like to play without Anthony Davis that far into the season. All right.
Well, the
But
year
we
before
have a
Anthony
lot of
Davis,
we
they were
have some
not
physical
good.
players and we got some guys that could get hot. I do think, yeah, I think I could Trez, Schroeder could deal up most guys. He's not going to be able to deal with the Kyries of the world. That's going to be an issue like once you get to the finals. But nah, I think a LeBron James-led basketball team, I'm not counting them out of the finals. He's been consistently getting there since he got here. He's been a staple there. We just saluted Tom Brady for consistency in the finals. Not only has this man done that, but he's done that from since he got here.
Okay, but this isn't the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference. This is a much tougher conference. He will not get out of the Western
That
Conference.
felt like a lot of judgment on the East right there, but I can't say.
Oh, well, yes, it was in the Eastern different time, but still come on and try to work with the same amount of ingredients and come up with a lot less.
Well, speaking of America, Boo Bear Brady, did y'all see him throw that trophy from the boat? Did you see that?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, maybe I'm just uncouth, but I don't think it's a big deal.
I thought that shit was live as fuck, man. Like
you like that,
Brady, man? Yeah, I love that shit, man.
No, my throat, my heart would have been in my throat.
Man, Tom Brady was fucking drunk and he just lost.
Yeah, he was faded, wasn't he?
I
he was
enjoyed
faded.
the video.
He was leaning. Who was
when
what? You saw him leaning? Did you see that?
When his homeboy had to carry him, hold him up.
Walking off the boat.
Yeah. I said I wasn't
was more
rooting for him
interested in
next
that.
year,
Like,
but
that was more likable to me. I may or may not have had a moment like that in my life. So hey,
I don't like the toss. That the trophy,
that
the
shit is
trophy
dangerous as
special.
fuck.
I don't like the toss, but
No, it's
the
not about the
the
trophy,
faded walk, the leaning on the homie at the end of the party, that was awesome.
Listen, man, the trophy, if it broke, could be fucking replaced. Like Tampa's got the money for it. That's not a problem.
Fair.
The only problem with throwing the trophy is that shit is reckless as fuck. That trophy is heavy. If that shit hits someone in the head,
So many reasons. But
because it's fucking Tom Brady, he throws that bitch and it gets caught.
Man, it caught. Nobody hurt. It didn't hit. And he knew it was gonna get caught. He knew it was gonna get caught.
He throws for a living. That thing was never in jeopardy. And you saw the way he measured it like a putt.
Tom Brady, you MAGA motherfucker, but man,
that was not even that was never in question for me. That wasn't even I'm like, whatever. The man throws things for a living. His accuracy is how he made millions.
He had me at leaning on the homie. All right, so front pages.
Yeah. That was it for me though.
Front pages, impeachment ain't happening. So what's next?
I mean, Trump clearly has a hold on the Republican Party, and he'll continue to have a hold on the Republican Party, man. He'll continue to influence uh, their politics, and he'll have a big influence on the 2022 midterm elections. It's just that simple, man. They show you that continuously. Like
He'll
McConnell,
definitely have an influence.
yeah, McConnell has the fucking nerve after they voted to acquit him, which McConnell did, to basically come out and say, you know,
That tough talk.
they need to rid themselves of Trump and the Republican Party. But he didn't have the balls to vote. Like McConnell at first comes out and says he's dog, and this shit is so funny to me. The sources were saying that McConnell was going to let the Republican senators vote with their conscience. What the fuck do they vote with before? Like he just tells them what the fuck to do, and they just as like fucking blind sheep listen.
He and others have made the point that the impeachment process is for removing sitting officials, and being that he's no longer a sitting official, they want to follow that precedent. That has to be put on record. And if that is the rule of law, the rule and how it's going to be interpreted, then so be it. I do think that he retains some power within the party, but I don't think he's as powerful as we might think he is right now. You know,
Mitch McConnell is the most powerful man in the Republican Party.
I was referring to Trump
right now. No, I'm talking about someone that can actually do something in politics.
Yes.
There is no one more powerful than Mitch McConnell in the Republican Party. And he is a devil to me. But where I do give him credit is he's a hell of a fucking politician. Like he's slimy, but he knows how to get what he fucking wants. And the Democrats need to learn how to fucking play hardball with his ass.
Good luck with that.
Dog, it's fucking crazy. Like they don't need their permission to do anything. Move forward with your fucking agenda.
That might not always be the best way to do it, especially when you have 4 more years ahead of you. 1, 2. The way to handle him is between now and the midterms. It's you want to handle McConnell. All right, 2022. Like you right now, the support around him is weakened. He's still, if that is the strategy based on what you desire politically, then it's all about the midterms.
And then another thing is there is precedent for impeaching an official that left office. Like I don't understand why they keep saying that.
Excuses are tools of incompetence. That's all that's about. Is it too late to start the Kamala Harris 2024? I mean, too early? Are we there yet, or are we holding off?
I mean, that would be a fucked up thing to do, considering she's the vice president, president that would be eligible to run.
I thought that was supposed to be 2028, man. But
that's why I asked the question. I don't know.
My vote that early either.
I don't know. Well, that's why I asked the question.
No. Ain't nothing automatic with me. Dog. I promise I'm not voting along any party lines. If that's gonna make it y'all like me, then y'all gonna be mad.
No, that's why I asked the question.
In 1876, the House of Representatives went ahead with articles of impeachment against Secretary of War William Belknap over corruption charges. The House went ahead and impeached him. The Senate tried him. And he was a departing election official. And the argument was that just because he was departing didn't excuse him from his actions. So
departing or departed?
He departed, like he was out of office, just like Trump was, and they still went ahead with the trial. Like, what the fuck? There is definitely precedent for this, and McConnell and the Republicans, Craig, they are just simply using that as an excuse, so they can wimp out of voting how they really feel they should vote, which is to impeach him. Because that's what they really want to do. They just don't have the balls to do it.
Yeah, everybody play the tough guy till poop pop off. So for me, my what's next is the prosecution of the crime of the attack on the Capitol. So, Trump isn't being impeached for his part in it, but the investigation, as I understand it, is still unfolding. I'm hearing hundreds of people facing charges, people getting arrested. So, even though
We'll
Trump
see what
isn't
percentage
impeached.
sticks.
Well, it's a process, right? So that's my that, and that's what I'm saying. That's my what's next. I want to still see justice served for all the participants, including those if it proves to be factual that members of Congress on the Republican Party helped participate in the coup. I want to see everybody brought to justice, and I've heard or read different things that suggest that that could include Trump. My thing for Trump is I just want him to go away, whether that's realistic or not. I just I don't want him taking up airwaves for 4 more years, let alone 4 more weeks, right? So yeah, I get that it may not be realistic, but I want to see the prosecutions. I want to see, people. I want to see justice served fairly for what transpired at the Capitol building.
I just want to read this quote to y'all from Mitch McConnell and ask you, how the fuck can he not vote to impeach Trump? This is his quote. This is after the acquittal. There is no question former President Trump bears moral responsibility. His supporters stormed the Capitol because of the unhinged falsehoods he shouted into the world's largest megaphone. His behavior during and after the chaos was also unconscionable, from attacking Vice President Mike Pence during the riot to praising criminals after it ended. And you vote to fucking acquit him?
Yes.
How can you justify that when you make that statement right after?
The same way I justify every other political decision I make, because I want to and because I can. What's the next question?
And on top of that,
Craig,
these people that have been doing dirt together.
If McConnell says impeach Trump, guess what? Trump gets impeached. It's because McConnell doesn't want to do that, even though he knows it's the right thing, because they want the votes from Trump's base.
So that's the answer.
McConnell included. McConnell included. These people have been working together for years. They know where each other's bones are buried.
See, I don't believe McConnell worries about his own re-election.
They're involved in big things together. So I do think that maybe one or two, I'm not accusing anyone in specific, but I would totally understand if people you've been working with for decades, you have some bones in some closets somewhere together, where your body's wherever, and taking one down might start a domino, and you might want to protect your interest. Am I saying it's right? No, but I'm able to see that possibility.
See, and his interest though for McConnell though is like, I don't think McConnell sits there and it's like, because he'll blast Trump. He did it right afterwards. He blasted Trump. McConnell is not worried about getting reelected. McConnell, like I said, is a master politician. He worries about the other Republicans that are up for reelection, and he wants Trump's base to vote for those Republicans. He wants to
keep the network intact.
Yeah, he wants to gain the power back in Congress.
Tangly webs we weave, baby.
2022.
Webs. What you say, Craig?
Vote 2022.
Oh yeah.
Man. Stay voting. Stay voting.
Show up to the midterms like you show up for presidential elections. Show up to all elections.
There's a city commission in my town.
We're gonna make a switch. All right. So we talk sports, we talk news. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. Let's talk a little bit about our feelings. So first and foremost, did everybody have a good Valentine's Day yesterday?
I had a great Valentine's Day, man. I spent it with my wife and my son. Fuck Valentine's Day, man. I'm sick and tired of fucking Valentine's Day.
No love for the love holiday.
Valentine's Day is such a bullshit holiday. Hey, ladies, if you're with a dude that only shows you what you're worth on Valentine's Day, you're with the wrong motherfucker. That's one.
All right, talk the talk. Now you're coming around to my side of things.
Two. This is such a fucking made up holiday to get you to spend money and get you to rush out to get some reservation to some fucking restaurant and buy flowers and buy candy. Where if you wait till the next day, you could go to Walmart and get all those things for 75% off.
All right.
This is
no love for the love day.
No, not for
Look
me.
here.
What say you, Craig?
That thing you speak of, Valentine's Day,
Ooh,
sounds
you
charming.
can't
I think
even
I
label
remember.
name it. Oh, okay. Keep
I
going.
remember. I remember hearing about it like somewhere back in the day in my youth, middle school. I don't know, somewhere. Like I don't know about all that. I know Sunday was fantastic, epic bike ride, great workout, some good meals. That's it. That's it.
Man, I like Valentine's Day. In fact, I love Valentine's Day.
Of
I
course he
think
does.
I
I
don't
would say this.
disagree. Oh, go
He's a
ahead.
he's
I
a hopeless
Go
co-sign, but
ahead.
like,
romantic.
look, I also don't like being told what to do.
That's
Don't tell
fair.
me I have to tell somebody I love them on that specific day. Screw you.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna tell them any other
so
day. I'm gonna tell them any other time that I want to.
can I state
Just
my
not
case?
because you told me, and I want
Can
to
I
tell them
state my
how I want to
case?
tell them.
Can I state my case for Cupid?
Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad. I'm
All right. So I don't disagree with the fact that yes, you should express your love for your loved one every day. Every day. Valentine's Day to me is Christmas for love. It's the birthday for Cupid. So it's a reason to do a little more, put a little extra energy, put a little extra umph in the love that you give and share throughout the year. You know, if you're a married couple, it's a reason to get a babysitter and take each other out for that
you
dedicated
gotta write my Tinder
special
die.
date night. If you're single, it's a window and opportunity to maybe meet some other people or embrace that ever escaping love called self love and spend some time loving yourself. But Valentine's is opportunity to tell your mama you love her, tell your children you love them, tell your neighbor you love them and appreciate them letting you have some sugar when you ran out. um, it's a reason to celebrate love in general. Yes, the commercials and the stores and the candies and the movies and the hallmarks and the lifetimes and all that stuff emphasize romantic love. But to me, for me, and I ain't gonna let y'all mess it up for me, Valentine's
Yeah.
Day is a day for celebrating love, whether it's romantic, self love, spiritual, familial, whatever it is. It's just, a day of love.
I,
The
I
person
love
with his
I love the holiday season. Like I love the holiday season. Like I grew up in a very strict Muslim household. And, we didn't celebrate like Thanksgiving or Christmas. And my wife is of Christian faith. And, so we celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas. And there's no one fucking more excited than me than when she puts up like the Christmas tree and shit. Like, I like that shit
She
because I
put it
didn't
up. You don't
experience
even
it as
help
a kid.
with you. You don't do nothing.
What?
You don't help with the Christmas tree.
Nah, I just like watching her do that shit. Like that's just my thing. That's like
at
a
least he's honest about
holiday
it.
tradition. Like I sit
Hey,
there and I watch her
every
do it.
household got its own way of doing it.
You know what I'm saying? Like so, we got our own thing going on, man. Like my wife is the griller in the house too. Like she does all that shit. She does the grilling. Like
Killer
I'll
Cam.
yeah, she handles shit. So, but Valentine's Day, oh dog, I just
I
can't get up
love
for
it.
that shit. Dog, yesterday
I waited out.
she wanted shrimp and grits from this place. Real Milk and Honey, Atlanta, Georgia. Spectacular. If you ever hear it, get it. Black owned business. It's excellent. So, dog, I'm like, I go to put it in the order online. The fucking online ordering is down, dog. So I'm like, fuck. I know the
That's not
fucking
Valentine's Day fault.
yes, it is because the fucking place is crowded because of fucking Valentine's Day, dog. So, dog,
That's
I
fair.
go in
That's fair.
there and she's like, you don't have to get it if you don't want, but I know this motherfucker wants
Oh
the
yeah,
shrimp and
she want it.
grits. So, dog, I go there, I
Scrimp
put in
and
the
grits.
order, I do it up for her, blah, blah, blah. Dog, wait 1 hour in the fucking
Mm.
car before the order is done.
Oh,
Then, take it home and just, she's happy. But it's like, man, all because of fucking Valentine's Day, I was in that car for 1 hour waiting to get her shrimp and grits.
Man, check the price of roses in a couple days.
See, that's what I like about my wife, man. She don't believe in the roses shit. She's like, those shits die too quickly. So like we don't do the roses.
Smell like
I
boo, boo, boo.
look,
Carlton, you do roses and shit, don't you?
Man, I do all of the above, man.
I'm down to get down, but it's not a deal for me. If it's really that important to the other person, then it's like, all right, let's go.
See,
Well,
man,
I'm all about my
to
partner
this
being
person.
happy.
Carlton's in it for the fucking romance of the holiday, y'all.
What I mean, what else is there to be in it for? What else? That's the premise
Yo,
of the
Craig,
Craig,
I
holiday.
admire the
Craig
romantic
isn't
is
in it
still
for the
alive in you,
romance.
man. The
Craig,
romantic is still alive.
no. Craig is hoping the end of the night ends with both of them in like baby oil and shit. Like Craig
Well,
is
that's
gonna
romantic. That's
no,
part of it. You
no.
just slip and slide into it. So selfish. All right. So the other thing for me with Valentine's Day
Hey, who you
is
been talking to?
hey, what happens on the
Carlton's got
internet?
like rose petals and shit laid out, and like that's Carlton.
Yeah, man. It is what
I
it be.
don't see
All right.
anything wrong with that as a possible ending to a possible night and any day that ends in Y.
Slip and slide. Okay. All right. So Valentine's Day for me also marks the halfway point for Black History Month, right? So Black History Month gets some flack for being the shortest month of the year, but February, my birthday month, I love February. Feel like it's well placed. So we're at the halfway mark of Black History Month. Any thoughts, ideas on where we are this far in the month, where we want to go the remaining 2 weeks of the month in terms of acknowledging and or embracing and or connecting with our Black history?
I think pop culture wise, the movie's about to slip. It just came out. Jay-Z dropped the track for it with Nip. That's on the soundtrack. Something in the Messiah.
Messiah,
Jesus and the Messiah
Judas and
movie.
the Black,
I don't want to slaughter it. Can you confirm it? I'm sorry.
Judas
It
and
was
the
just on
Judas and the
tip of my
Black
tongue.
Messiah,
Judas and the Messiah.
and the Black Messiah.
Judas and the Black Messiah. Thank you.
Soundtrack is fire. Soundtrack is
Yeah, soundtrack's fire. It
fire.
addresses some of the Fred Hampton story there, and I just think there is a reason why certain people are have earned the reason to be martyrs and highlighted, but I also think there are other people that contributed to the changes that have happened and the progress that have been made that should be highlighted too. So yeah, check out all those stories. I'm trying to check it out ASAP. I'm even thinking about actually going back to a theater to check it out. Like it's there's a couple different venues that is coming out, and from what I understand. So I think checking out other stories, checking out Marcus Garvey's contribution, not just Martin Luther King, right? I'm not trying to take a shot at Martin Luther King. I'm just saying there's other people that contributed in major ways, and especially in the community.
Right. It's a lot
Yeah,
of
I mean,
dreams
I'm
out
finding out. Somebody was telling me about Sistrunk Boulevard here, and who was named after, and that association fraternally on top of that, Sistrunk Boulevard here in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, I that's new history to me. From what I understand, one of the first physicians in the area, if I'm not way off. So I just thought that was really dope. Just hearing the little stories like that. I caught that at just walking into a meeting of brothers.
Of course, like I love that there is Black History Month, and I take no issue with it being in February. The reason for it being in February is it was selected to be in February because that is also the month of Frederick Douglass's birthday as well as Abraham Lincoln. And it's a great month, but Black History Month should be celebrated. Like Black history should be year round in America, man. Black history is American history. Like it's not, like that's the part about it where I feel like, yeah, like that is just it. There is no America the way it is today without Black history in America. And like the thought that a school in Utah, I don't know if you boys saw this story. In Utah, there was a school where the parents complained about the their students being taught Black history. And this school only has 3 Black students. And the school allowed the parents to opt out of learning about Black history or participating in certain Black history events during the month. And it's like, how the fuck is that possible? Like, Black history is American history. And the other part that annoys me about that is it's like these people don't want to expose their kids to Black excellence, for them to realize the outstanding contributions that Black Americans have made to this country throughout time. That
Oh, so
is
you're
unbelievable.
saying they understand the power of education and indoctrination.
They
Is that what he
understand
said?
that if
That's what I
they're
heard.
if their white students saw Black people on a level of excellence,
Marketing's powerful, brother.
they don't want them to see Black people on that level. They want them to see Black people as being less than, inferior to them. Why else? How else could you justify going to your school board and asking them to opt students out of the Black history curriculum for the month?
That's absolutely ridiculous. You can't, but at the same time, you said Tennessee, you heard no surprise. I hate to say it like that. I heard no, I'm not, it's just, I'm sorry. I'm not.
There's a segment
I'm in America and I grew up here. It is first Black doctor, back to what I said before, I was right. Dr. James Franklin Sistrunk, first Black doctor in Broward County. Sistrunk Boulevard on there.
You know what I think about a lot when to the points that both of you are making, the history that we are still learning about, but including the history that we're intertwined in as Blacks, is music, right? Hip hop, we know the source, where that came from. We could debate who originated it, but we know 77, 78, 79, New York, Black folks, beats, DJing, that's hip hop. And in the 80s, hip hop didn't even make it onto the Oscars, right? It wasn't even part of the Grammys. I'm sorry, it wasn't even part of the broadcast. And today, it's, I think, over half of the categories. And so just in
Revenue.
a few decades, you see what this one genre that was ostracized has done. But that made me think about the fact that the foundation of basically all the music that exists in this country, jazz, country, blues, is sourced from rock and roll, is sourced from the African soul. And so take us out of the equation, you lose music. Take us out of the equation, the things that built the financial systems that that were backed or built upon the backs of slaves. You take us out of that equation, you don't have any of this stuff. So I agree with you, Mo, with both of you really, but I'm often intrigued when I think about just how intertwined our contribution to this country is in what the country still is today.
They're precious buildings like the White House and the Capitol, built on the backs of slaves. Southern wealth made off of slave labor. Like, man, Black people's contribution to America prospering is countless. And
well, this goes to the adage where they say, you love the culture and not the people, right? That's kind of the phenomenon that's embodied here. But I think the people are, in general, growing to understand their power, their place, their consciousness. I do think there's movement in the right direction, and it can't be denied, right? So
no denying it.
There's no look. We're here. We gotta share. We gotta share the place. Let's figure it out.
I mean, Doc, in order to reach a level of equality, not a level, just there is only equality. There's just equity. Either there is equality or there's no equality. So in order to reach that, you need humanity. And that starts with our children, right? And when you only expose, if you are a white parent and you only expose your children to Black people when they are being arrested on TV or when they are watching the news or negative imagery of Black people, they grow up to not view Black people in a humane way. And that leads to racism and bigotry, and that will continue to lead to inequalities. So it bothers me, like, why would you not want your kids to get educated on what Black people have contributed to this country? It just makes it bothers me to my core that they felt so moved by that they had to go ask the school board so they could opt out.
I mean,
Like,
the
that's
core reason why is
unbelievable.
fear. I mean, the core reason why is fear. Now, what the justifications and excuses might be, hey, I guess you'd have to be there to know. But at the end
Look,
of the day,
they don't
so
feel
much
like
of
their
it
kids
is
need
fear.
all that.
Yeah.
Why does why does their that person may not feel like their white son needs to know those the contributions. They
Doc,
might
there's a
not feel
movement
like it makes no never mind.
there's a movement in this country that wants teachers to teach their kids that, everything was fucking peaches and cream in this country for everyone. Like, they want you to just like gloss over slavery, to gloss over the injustices done
Well,
to
look,
numerous peoples of color. Doc, I was reading an article about people that visit Monticello. Monticello is Thomas Jefferson's plantation in Virginia. And when the people start talking to them about the slaves that were on Monticello, because Jefferson owned hundreds of them, white people would get irritated and tell them to stop talking about it. They didn't want that to be mentioned, even though it's factual. Like, it's fucking true. Jefferson owned slaves. Deal with it.
yeah.
But instead of dealing with it, they'd like to pretend like it doesn't exist, just like systematic racism doesn't
It's like
exist.
a pimple on the forehead. It's there. Acknowledge it. You can't
Well, that goes
escape it.
back to Karen, who I said she just wanted to close her eyes and talk louder and louder instead of actually discussing issues and trying to reach a common ground to move forward on. She just wanted to close her eyes and she's not she represents so so many conversations where it's like, if I close my eyes and scream my God's will that my way is the right way, then you should just, okay, you're right. Like, that's the
Well,
expectation.
there are two books that talk about that. One is White Fragility, and the other is Dying of Whiteness. And both books take different perspectives, but for me, encompass why the discussion is so not even difficult to just have, but it's difficult to get to the conclusion that we believe so wholeheartedly, that as blacks in this country, we are part of what this country is. We built this country. Just own it. Just acknowledge it. Recognize the crimes that were committed. I don't know reparations. Sorry, that's a separate conversation, separate debate. But we can't even get consistent acknowledgement of what transpired. And so, as we talk about healing, as we talk about where do we go next, it's hard to really do those things when you still have a country that in all areas, in so many different levels of its systems, don't want to acknowledge what it did wrong.
I mean, I don't ever expect some formal spoken or written acknowledgement. And I don't know if I even want one. What I want is the systematic dismantlement of systems that perpetrate that way of thinking.
Yes.
That action tells me everything I need.
When I drive through the Bible Belt, when I drive through the Bible Belt, I want to be able to see signs that say we don't do that here no more. All are welcome.
Man.
Shit.
I remember that drive through Mississippi one time. Man.
But you need to, like, in order
Nice.
for us to reach a better place, like where we can understand each other, right? You can't avoid the fucked up shit that happened or that continues to fucking happen. You need to be able to acknowledge that so we could process that and we could move on to a better understanding. But if you refuse to acknowledge it, if I'm like, there was slavery in America for a long period of time, and you put your hands in your ears and you're like, la 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 la, I don't hear you. That doesn't mean it didn't fucking happen. Like
No, no,
earlier,
no, no. I'm not. I want to be clear. I'm not for the continued watering down of how history is presented. I'm not talking about that part. But I am also very aware. I got you. That as we systematically detangle some stuff, it forces you to deal with stuff anyway. So get to the work of dismantling.
That's fair.
You're going to be forced to deal with some ish.
yeah, but you can't dismantle if people aren't willing to deal with that shit. Like, just real quick.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like earlier,
I see
I
what
said
you're trying
that
to say. I understand.
Antonio Brown called Mike Mayock a cracker, and we
Yes.
acknowledge that that was not appropriate. You know what I'm saying?
Inappropriate.
It was inappropriate. Just like Wallen saying that nigga when he was talking the country singer last week, that's not
Inappropriate.
appropriate as well.
Out of
Uh,
box.
but dog, how many people are defending Wallen because they're like that's just the way he talks with his friends. You can't get anywhere, Craig, if people are going to take that attitude.
So it sounds like we have a racial conundrum in the United States of America. Surprise, surprise, surprise. All right, fellas, wrapping it up for today. It's time to say goodbye. What accolades we got to distribute before we send the folks on their way?
I'll start off with some of my heroes of the week, man. I would like to acknowledge the Seattle and the Austin police departments. Not actually the police departments, like they didn't do shit. I like to acknowledge the people of Seattle and Austin. For those of you that don't know, they have reallocated millions of dollars of funding from their police stations, and they are putting it into other services in an effort to better protect and serve their community. Um,
Hold up. Wait, what?
they have taken money, Craig, from the police departments, and they have allocated it to different resources. In Texas, it's really only in Austin, Texas, where Carlton is. Carlton, have you been following this in Austin?
Yes, I have. Keep going.
Uh, I'm excited about it, man. In Austin, they're doing some major shit. Like they took a bunch of money from the police
I
department.
don't think that. Why is that? That don't sound good to me, bro. No, I'm not on that
Well,
defund. I'm with demilitarize. I'm not with defund.
No, I'm not with
well, it's
defund either.
not. It's not.
I'm with
So
reattribute.
I can't speak to Seattle. I can't speak for
No, I don't
Seattle.
like it.
It's not. It's not defund. It is
Redistribute
reallocate.
funds.
It's looking at how spending has been occurring, looking at where the opportunities exist to
All right.
do
Well,
better within the community, with training, with relationships. So it isn't defund. It's assess, reassess, and reallocate. At least in Austin, I can't speak for
For
Seattle, but
example, in Austin, they are taking some of these funds and they are building a hotel where they're going to house hundreds of homeless people and actually try to make a difference in their community and benefit people that are underserved. I am all for this. This needs to continue around America.
I'm all for that end product. I might not. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't know where it's. I'm not aware of that, but I guess just because I know personally so many people that serve in law enforcement closely, and I don't know if any jobs were impacted by that. So that's what I went to thinking when that was mentioned. I don't know where, so when I hear defund, I worry about friends and families losing jobs.
No, nobody's losing jobs. They're just taking money away from other programs.
I'm demilitarized.
In Seattle, they are taking that money and putting it towards mental health. I hope to see policing continue to go down this route.
You got any heroes, Craig? Any accolades to distribute?
No, I would just like to say thank you for everybody listening, especially listening to the end. It's a labor of love. Appreciate you.
I got one for Black History, a master of his craft, Ta-Nehisi Coates, the author of Water Dancer. Beautifully done book. It looks at, I don't want to take any surprises away, but it gives a different perspective, but real perspective of what slavery was like. But it's a romantic story. It's a vivid story, and it's also it has a lot of excitement to it. So very well done book. I strongly recommend folks checking that one out. But that in of itself, Ta-Nehisi Coates is also, a brilliant mind. He has other books that he's done. He's spoken on a topic of Black history, the social dynamics in this country. So definitely check out Water Dancer. Anything else before we say farewell?
Yeah, just a couple of more heroes, man. Shout out to Carter G. Woodson. He is the creator of Black History Month. I would also like to give a shout out to Mackenzie Scott. Mackenzie Scott is the ex-wife of Jeff. I'm not sure what his last name is. The founder of Amazon, the CEO.
Oh, Bezos. You talking about Jeff Bezos?
Jeff Bezos, yes. His ex-wife, they've got divorced. And ever since they've got divorced, she has put his money, or their money, I guess, to good use. And she has donated to 6 historically Black colleges. She gave $40 million to Howard, $30 million to Hampton, $20 million to Tuskegee and Spelman, and an undisclosed amount to another school. These are the kind of allies that I like to see actually putting their money where their mouth is. She's not just talking about supporting, she's actually doing something about it. Greatly appreciate it. So big shout out to her.
Good call.
No
Great
buffoons
call
this week.
Yeah, I always got some buffoons for you, man. First buffoon, we talked about them earlier, that Utah school. I will not talk about them again. It's ridiculous that they gave the parents the option. After hearing the pressure about it, of course, they went back on it, and now they are forcing the kids.
Oh, you said Utah?
Yeah, it's a school in Utah. And now they are, unfortunately, and I'm using air quotes, forcing the children to learn Black history. Fuck that school in Utah. That is ridiculous. Second buffoon for me, Urban Meyer. Fucking clown. Urban Meyer hired a strength coach from Iowa. I don't know if you boys saw this story.
Yeah, with the checkered past.
Yes, his name is Chris Doyle. And Chris Doyle was the strength coach at Iowa and had been accused of treating the Black players differently from the white players, and had even been accused of using racial slurs with the players, to the point where the players felt so uncomfortable about it that they spoke out about it during on social media. Urban Meyer hires this clown. And I told my wife right away, like, this isn't college fucking football. Like, these are grown men that make more money than the coaches. So if this guy thinks he's going to go in there and fuck around with these guys, he's in for a rude awakening. That's one. Two, why would Urban Meyer even hire this guy? Like, how can you take the temperature of the room and decide that this is a good hire? And then Craig and Carlton, he has the nerve to say, he goes, I vetted this guy. I vetted this guy. Did you talk to any of the players at Iowa about him? And then he goes, I've known him for over 20 years. And this is just another example of the good old boy network, where these racist, bigoted people, white men, keep looking out for each other and giving each other jobs, while Black coaches who have earned an opportunity to get jobs still don't get the jobs.
Waiting on you. You good?
On Urban Meyer, man, I just the NFL really needs to look at how their hiring process goes and decide like what are they going to do to make it more equitable, because right now it's some bullshit. The Rooney Rule isn't working. Something else needs to be put in place, because the problem is they're fucking owners. And the coaches they keep hiring keep looking out for each other, and people that are deserving of jobs keep getting frozen out.
Well, the
Something
owners are indicative of the conundrum that the United States of America faces. You know, you have a strong energy pushing for change, a strong energy pushing for equality, but the powers that be, where a lot of the money be, are still representative of that old mindset. So,
Carlton, when he says I've known him for 20 years, I vetted him. What kind of fucking vetting process is this? Like these
Right.
boys, like when you read the things that they said this gentleman said to them, it's deplorable. And he's saying it to young black
The
men.
D word,
Basically, what Urban is
the D
saying is,
word,
I'm putting my name on them. Shut up.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like, right?
and what I'm telling you is he's a fucking strength coach. He's not some offensive genius calling the plays. He's the fucking strength coach. And the reason why Urban Meyer hires him is because it is a good old boy network. This is my boy. We kick it. We make little racist jokes together. And the fucked up part is Urban Meyer would, you know, credit to his hard work and his work ethic and all that. But he is where he is because the majority of his players were black, and they are the ones that were able to put him in this position. And he just turns around and is just completely blinded to this and is like, fuck it. I'm going to hire a guy that I know has fucking a racial history that is clouded. Because like Craig said, I'm Urban Meyer. What the fuck are you going to do about it?
So a white
He's my
man
boy.
whose success, a white man's success predicated on the performance of black men. Where they do that at?
Carlton, this fucking guy gets fired from his job
pioneer.
at Iowa for what he did, and he gets a promotion to the NFL?
Where they do that at? The United States of America. All right, fellas. Anything else before we say goodbye, good morning, good night, good siesta?
Nah, I think I said a premature goodbye anyway.
Well, that's, you know,
thankful.
Mo has some stuff to get off his chest, so it's all good.
Love y'all, man. Y'all be safe out there.
All right, well, happy day after Valentine's Day. Happy halfway point of Black History Month. Continue to grow, learn, and develop, and acknowledge the contribution of Blacks in this country. We thank y'all for enjoying us for another episode. Plenty more to go. We having a great time. Hope you all are enjoying us as well. Again, Joe Nitty, excellent work, my brother. Excellent work. We appreciate you tremendously.
Celebrate Black history every day, man. That is American fucking history. Celebrate that shit year round. It is American history.
Rise when the sun shines.
All right. Appreciate it. We out. Thank y'all.
Craig D, Molat. You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.